All right, welcome back to another episode of the VW Thing. In this episode, we're going to take care of a couple more of interior things that I thought would be kind of interesting, so I wanted to include you along in it, you know? But since you were last here when I did the steering column, seats, and center console, I've gotten all the metal work done to the dash and the center console here, so before I can move forward with actually installing the wiring for the final time, I need to do a couple more things. And yeah, so let's time lapse the dash together, and then we'll talk about what we're going to take care of next. All right, so that's it for the reassembly. Let me show you what's going on. See, I kind of replicated the GTR dash in metal, but to the thing. I had to try to, you know, join the two together by utilizing the original GTR stuff and then molding it into the thing. I kept some attributes of the thing, like the open glove box, but angled it to, you know, to meet the GTR instrument cluster and stuff. The infotainment unit has a cooling fins on the back, so I had to keep it open, so I just used the perforated, and then I carried that over to the back of the instrument cluster. On the last video, when I installed this, I was talking about maybe getting rid of these buttons, but it turns out these control the computer screen on there and allows you to cycle through the different menus, and same thing on that side. It's like the trip control and, you know, the dimmer for the lights and stuff. So I had to keep this thing, but I knew this was too long and the windshield was going to hit it, so I ended up cutting the back off and just carrying that perforated over to the back of the instrument cluster as well. So if I put this up, it just comes within a, you know, pretty close of the glass, but it doesn't actually hit it. Anyway, so you can clamp that down and still do that. Plus you can fold the window down, obviously, right? But you can just see the perforated through that glass there. And then the instrument cluster itself actually protrudes through the side of this flat panel, so I just used the perforated there again as well. You know, that's the remote. What's that, like an RF key switch there? You probably wouldn't actually put the key in there, but I still have to have it in there, right? What else? Yeah, I made the metal panels, the kick panels on the inside there, and the wiring will end up going through there. Oh yeah, the holy shit bar, that's going to be pretty helpful for the passenger, something to hold on there. I think that'd be kind of fun, and yeah, I think that looks all right the way it all works together there. But now, so we got two things to deal with. First things first, this doorpost is completely in the way. After a lot of debate and discussion, we decided we're going to move these doorposts back to the point where I can actually weld a bracket from the bulkhead here up to the side of this doorpost on the inside. So we're gonna move this back about 6 inches, and then just to give the driver and passenger more room to get in between there. You can see it's pretty tight between the steering wheel and the doorpost here, right? So move that back, and in fact, you can probably see if I wiggle this, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's not that structurally sound, right? So we can move this back and then anchor it up there, and then make a new panel, or maybe cut the skin off the old door panel and join it in there, flow it in, get rid of these hinges, and just make this door a little bit longer. I don't know if these hinges will hold it yet, but I kind of like the way we can just remove that. So maybe we can get some Jeep hinges, or I'm not sure how strong those pins are. We'll see, we'll make it, and then we can always just add new hinges later. But I think before we get into that, we are going to tackle that rear panel. All right, so you can see my chicken scratches here of where the speakers will go, and also the reinforcement brackets. At the end of these reinforcements, there's actually some bolt holes in here. If you can listen to that. I'm gonna see if I can get rid of that by adding some beads and strengthening this back panel. Plus I can bolt it down wherever I need to, right? But, and I'll have to put some sound deadening material on the back of that for sure. You can see these holes here. That's where the original wiring would come through. So it would come from the front, down the rocker, up underneath the old seat, through that hole, and the transmission controller would mount on the back. So I might relocate the transmission controllers to the floor of the trunk, and then actually move this hole down here. And I think what we're going to do, because this is only a 2-seater now, the original GTR would have had 4 seats back here, but we're not going to put the back seats back in it. So I'm just going to make a flat floor across here to hide the wiring, and somewhere nice to put your gear on that doesn't look like, you know, this. So I think that's what we're going to do first. So we're going to transfer this pattern to the wood, cut that out, and then emboss that shape into the metal with the Polmac. So yeah, I think it's hammer time. Ooh, that was a bad one. All right, actually, really dig this, the way this embossing worked out pretty good here. It's made it a lot more solid. These will eventually get cut out for the speakers, but now that panel there, you can see the new lines I've created on that. So I thought, because this was embossed, that looked kind of plain, although that's probably going to get covered, because when the roof is down, it's going to sit on top of that. But now there's potential when the speakers are going, this whole area is going to be cavitating, and that piece is going to be vibrating. So I thought I'd just put some ribs in there in the same way that I did this, but we'll just make it a fan pattern to sort of mimic these holes here. So let's cut that wood out and emboss that as well. All right, so this video is very high level. It just talks about the overview of the whole project. Doesn't really get into much detail, but there are some aspects which I think are kind of cool that I think we could cover in a smaller video, like the panel beating. So up there in that's left on my side, right on your side, there'll be a link to another smaller video that just talks about the panel beating we did for this car on this segment here. Just goes into a little more detail on that. All right, so now that the back panel is in and mounted, we can turn our attention to the door post before we make this lower floor here. You can see that's really tight in there. Like really, if I take a tape measure between the door post and the steering wheel, they're like 11.5 inches in there. So that's got to change. I don't see a way around that. So let's just move this door post back, and then we'll make some bigger doors. So you can't just take the door post off and put it where we want it. That'd be real convenient. Anyway, let's make some new skins for the front and rear, because even if I cut one of these door skins apart for the rear doors, I won't have enough for the front door. So I'm gonna end up making a panel with the ribs on it for the front door. So rather than cutting up a perfectly good set of doors, I might as well just make another small piece and then weld it on a new skin here, right? Makes sense. So let's get making some bigger doors for this thing. It looks big, but it's still not as big as like a 1970 Cadillac. All right, so I may have gone ahead and welded the door post on and attached the rear panel and attached the inner rear panel and made a door post support brace and floor mount there. And I may have gone ahead and made the whole door. Now, I didn't include you in any of this because there was a whole bunch of revisions along the way, including the speaker mount. Originally, so I extended the door 9 inches to move the door post back a little bit, as you know. But with that, I could have cut it through the middle here, but I didn't want an extended pocket, and I needed someplace to put a speaker. So ended up redoing this and actually making a peace sign right there that we can mount a 6-inch speaker in. So I thought that was a good compromise there. Another one was the seat belt mount. So the thing is, you know, it doesn't have a place to put a shoulder mount for a 3-point harness, but what I did do is put a 1.5-inch bar up in here that we can drill and tap and put a crossbar across to the other door in case he wants to put a shoulder harness for like a 5-point seat belt or something in there. And the other one that I'm still not sure of right now is this, and this is this lip right here. You can see the original thing has this black lip on top of the doors there, and which is fine, but in this case now there's a potential you got your hand on the steering wheel and you got your arm at the door, and it's going to be leaning on that edge. And even with this black strip that fits on there, it might still get kind of annoying. So I'm thinking about just removing this. Maybe removing the one on the door, but leaving this one on the back of the car. So, and now I have to do it all for the second side. So now I can include you along and see how many steps it takes to make this 3-door thing a 2-door. All right, so I know we're on step 1 here, but this is like step 1.1. So the door post has been cut off. You can see the metal that's underneath of it. It's rusty. This thing has also been involved in an accident. You can see how wavy this line is, and you can see all the cheese that's in there. And the lip is even gone from here. It's been crushed. Something's gone on here. So anyway, if we got this damage and this rust and the door post is gonna fit here-ish, why don't I just make a whole new piece while I'm here? So it's like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 bends, and I'll have a whole new piece that goes from the doorpost to the new doorpost location, and we can get rid of all of that and it's all new steel. Why not, right? So let's make a new one. right, so I just wanted to fit the door to the car before I start making any of the skins for it, just to make sure that it's going to fit, because this car had been hit on this side, and we still have some damage here we need to fix. I don't even know why that hole is there. I just wanted to make sure that the top edge of the door here was going to line up with where I want it to end, and that the door gaps were good. So it closes pretty good right now. I think I'll have to adjust the striker on the back a little bit, but let's get welding the peace sign in now.
8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 9. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 10. 10. 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
All right, and there we go. The VW thing is now officially a two-door. It definitely has a more sportier vibe to it now, which is pretty cool. And go to the other side here. We've also provided the driver with much more room to get in and out of now. Whereas before there was 11.5 inches, now we're almost 20 inches there. And definitely makes getting in and out a lot easier. And you may have noticed I decided to remove this top seam here. It's inevitable that the driver's arm will be hanging out the door there, or the window. So just wanted to make that easier on the Elbonium and get rid of that seam. And actually, you know, the car is taking on a lot more character of its own, because up till now we've just been joining the two halves together. But now with the dash, speaker mounts, the rear panel, and the parcel tray there, it's starting to take on its own character here, which I'll be able to bring some of these items, probably even the 1-inch bar, over to the front, because now it's time for the cool stuff and I get to work on the front. I'm really looking forward to this part of it, and that's getting the intercoolers mounted, the bumper, the oil cooler, the headlights, modifying the hood, and getting all the plumbing that will come out for the intercoolers and the air cleaners. Yeah, don't know how it's all going to flow together yet, but I'm looking forward to it either way. So, but I gotta call it there on this video. It's already gone on way too long. I'm making these things way too long. Maybe I'll have to break this video up a little bit. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, subscribe. Thanks very much for watching.